Hello, everybody. My name is Zelinator, and we are back with Donovan's Spellbook, Chapter 2, Corruption. I feel like there's something I was going to bring about last time, but I don't think so. Other than this is less than half the size, so we'll see how quickly we can get through this, judged by the scroll bar length on the right. Okay, it's time to talk about corruption. I hold on. I would really like to be cheery like I was in the last section, but corruption is actually a pretty serious topic. I don't know why that was so hard to read. I want this to be a warning and guide against corruption. I want to teach you how to tell when you or one of your friends is becoming corrupt, so you can stop it before it goes too far. If you or a loved one is experiencing some big word that I can't remember half the time, then you may be entitled to free consultation. Reminds me of some of those old 2000s commercials about something or other, some medical condition. Anyways, ahem. So just like with the main 8 traits, there's also corrupt versions of these traits, which are referred to as vices, or just inverted traits. So it's like the opposite, I see. For example, determination, spite, loyalty, betrayal. Patience becomes frustration, persistence produces apathy, justice creates vengeance, integrity is deceit, kindness is cruelty, and bravery is cowardice. Reminder, check on justice. Uh, integrate, what? Oh, integrity, Amelia, progress? Oh, Amica, however you say it. Ex, I don't know if that's experience or expert, I don't know. Cheer. Reminds me of some of my handwriting. At least I could read my own handwriting, even if others can't. Well, then again, you can read your own handwriting. Oh well, that's all that. Whilst it's true that only a vice can defeat a virtue, the opposite is also true. So it's got to counteract each other. The power between a corrupt and non-corrupt individual is usually equal, but we'll get into how exactly that works later. Was I this zoomed out last time? Maybe the text is just smaller. Where is it? Oh. Corruption is caused by many things, but I think the best way of explaining it is like this. The more you hurt others, the easier it becomes to distance yourself from them. And the more you distance yourself from them, the easier it becomes to hurt others. So it's like an endless loop. And the less you will hurt. When you desire questionable things, when you are fully confident in fulfilling that goal, and when you go against your trait, your amica will start to corrupt. At least, that's how Beryl puts it. Hehe. I'm looking at the art because I can't do any better. Let's see, Prince. Is that Calhoun? Bravery's cowardice. Amika's all angry. Flint integrities become deceit. Uncle. King Carlos. Determination is spite. Like a whole loop here. Then big corrupt over here. However, though, Uncle. Because I'm not recognizing this guy. Unless I missed it somewhere. I think that I want to say Calhoun, but at the same time, I don't think there's an H. That looks like an H after the I think it's a U. Maybe it's Callan. I don't know. But either way, uncle proves relationship status, assuming it's in the literal sense. Man, it's just one big family tree. When a person is conflicted over their own desires, their amica changes in response to their new power imbalance. It becomes corrupt. Once an amica is corrupted in this way, the person will start lashing out. They become obsessed with gaining more and more power, and eventually they end up just like Flint or Carlos. just a husk of a person that they used to be, filled to the brim with unbridled hatred, their only purpose being to spread despair. Sounds like some other game reference, if I'm thinking myself. When casting magic, an important thing to take into account is your own power level, but the most important is restraint. You cannot hurt someone with your magic if you do not desire to hurt them, but when a person is corrupted, they have no more restraint, and are merciless monsters. Corruption really is scary. I promise that the next section will be more lighthearted. Anyway, corruption happens in several stages, but the effects become harder and harder to reverse as the effects worsen. Corruption tends to leave scars that refuse to heal. That's going to be important to some of the characters we know. Stage 1, Healthy. The first telltale sign of corruption aren't entirely noticeable at first. Oh, signs. I read that as singular. Perhaps your friend is acting a lot more irritable than normal, or they're just getting angry at small things. Most people will experience stage 1 of corruption during their lives and will only experience the later stages of their stress and anger that isn't kept under control. I realize I should have got water, but I don't have one. Oopsies, oh well. I've already started. Stage 2, Mild. The next stage is the point where it's a little easier to tell if someone is starting to become corrupt. They may not seem as happy as they usually are, and feel irritated as frustrated often. Is that as frustrated or like and frustrated? Irritated and frustrated often seems to flow better. They tend to keep their feelings to themselves and tend to avoid conflict, and they tend to snap a lot when people ask if they're feeling okay. Just give your friend some space, as pestering them too much might end up moving them into the next stage. What if you could, like, anti-pester them to, like, calm them down and stuff? Doop, doop, doop. Stage 3, Moderate. Stage 3 is where physical signs start to show. Remember those scars that I mentioned? Those start to appear on a person's body, mostly starting on the person's hands. Is it because that's where magic is cast from, so it starts there? This is the stage which you want to look out for, as a person can easily escalate to the more serious stages if not kept in check. People in this stage tend to not think clearly and usually have an angry aura surrounding them. Are there some people that are physically able to see an aura? I mean, like, in this world of magic and whatnot. Of course, I don't know much about real world anyways. Like, is there a way to, like, physically see an aura? Assuming it's a physical thing. People on this stage are very conflicted and feel like they could hurt somebody at any point, but fortunately, the people around them can help them get out of the stage with enough guidance. Alright, so it's still easily, well, averagely possible to reverse it by stage 3, so then yeah, assuming the 1 and 2 are as well. But of course, now we're getting into the area where it's a little more difficult to reverse. Alright, so you can talk with folks and whatnot beforehand. Stage 4, Serious. Most people in this stage lose their cool very quickly and lash out at others a lot. Most of their anger clouds their judgment at this point, and they may start to exhibit violent behavior. But most of the time, this is directed towards things, not people, like rocks and trees. People in this stage have little to no positive emotion and start to lose a hold on themselves. The corruption scars start running from their face at this stage too. He's angry. Stage 5, Extreme. Can I? There we go. Well, I keep it like this. These people are constantly angry about something. They always have negative views about other people's opinions. They're very critical. I guess this could also be referred to as the Carlos stage. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, reminds me of someone I know. And then Carlos stage, I'm like, yep, there you go. Proper label. Your anger can escalate out of control and end up hurting people, and you start to be a danger to yourself and others. but it's still, it still can be considered reversible. I know it's, like, pretty hard now. Um, but I guess if this is where Carlos is at, then it's still possible. Maybe one day. I don't know. We haven't even seen season 3 yet. Stage 6, full corruption. Fully corrupted individuals do not care for anybody but themselves. They've lost all sense of reason, all sense of what makes them human. I don't know why. I thought they weren't human. Well, I guess that, Homo sapiens, I guess it doesn't matter. I guess this is still a Earth filled with humans. Even if, we'll make a. I don't know. Is there a name for the world? Is it still Earth? Is it just like an alternate Earth? Because y'all list continents and whatnot. I don't remember if y'all had a name for the world and whatnot. But everyone's still human, so I guess it's still filled with those sentient beings. It's beside the point. Unless y'all, go into space one day, come across a. Nah, I don't think you would ever get there. Y'all are gonna deal with, I mean, you might. Y'all got magic. I wouldn't be surprised if, the random spin-off series, like once it's all over, y'all create a portal to an Earth where everyone is human, no magic exists there, and you're like, how can y'all do stuff without magic? No magic, no corruption, no amicas, all that stuff. It'd be like us going to a world without computers, like no advanced electronics. Like, yeah, we could have, lights and uh, there's not a lot of other stuff that doesn't actually rely on digital computing. I don't know. That would be weird. All right, I'm getting sidetracked. Not as much as, not as bad as the first chapter though. I was talking about all sorts of stuff. Anyway, let us continue. Do 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 do. They lose control of themselves. It's almost like something else entirely is controlling their actions. They become only a shadow of who they once were. There's no going back for fully corrupted individuals. They hurt everyone around them and are very destructive, up until the very day they die. It's no joke that they're sometimes called the embodiment of despair itself. I wonder if there's a very intentional reason why that's like a dark purple, other than despair being all gloomy and stuff. There's someone else we know who wears purple a lot. I thought that we'd never see the day where a full corruption would happen, but I guess Flint is just proof that anybody can become corrupt, even if it doesn't seem like it. I heard that he used to be such a polite person before Carlos worsened his mental state and caused his madness. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. I figured, because I was like, I could tell the difference. I'm like, I know they're both corrupt and whatnot, but Carlos, he's in this extreme and whatnot. He's always angry and stuff. But like Flint, by now, he knows what he's doing in the sense that he's not showing his anger all the time and whatnot. Um, but yeah, he still only cares for himself and whatnot. Do. This is kind of getting to me. Can't write like this. Give me a few minutes. Draws a picture of Beryl to make himself feel better. Okay, yeah, that made me feel a little better. Back to writing about corruption. Seeing a picture of someone you care about always makes you feel better. Am I right? Anyways, let's have some examples. We'll use Flint first. Flint Daybreak. Hold on, give me a second, because I've got to say the same thing again, and hold on. Give me like 30 seconds or less. Nope, where is it? Because I got corrected last time and I already forgot. And it's gonna make me mad because I know I'm gonna say it right. Because I could never remember it. Do. All right, I'm gonna say this sentence again. Flint Daybreak, ruler of Cyric. He originated with an integrity amica, but after many, many years of being belittled and cast aside by Carlos cough cough, the one he saw as his best friend, he underwent the fastest corruption ever recorded. Does that mean y'all keep a record of everyone who gets corrupt? How long is the list, and how far did their stages advance? And how many people are still? Let's continue. He destroyed part of the castle in his rage. And now we're in the middle of a war where he plans on getting revenge and proving his old friend wrong. So it begins. Well, actually, it's already begun. We're like halfway through now. Let's talked about an example is Prince Callum. Alright, so that was a U. There was no H. Okay. Oh, that was an M, not an H and N. Okay. Lucian's younger brother. He was always overshadowed by his older brother and gathered a lot of anger over the years. Maybe was talked about more. Some of these, outer people, they don't stick with me enough because I don't see them enough. It's all about repetition for my memorization. Because if I don't see people, I'm not going to remember them. He got into an argument with his brother one day and fled the castle. And a few years ago, he returned and was welcomed back with open arms. But Callum was still corrupted and ended up killing Lucian. Maybe it was talked about before, because I'm trying to remember. You talked about. I'm trying to remember. Oh, where I can't remember when or where. But I think they were referred to before, unless I'm thinking of something two totally other people. Anyway, He then disappeared off the face of the earth after that. Carlos became king after that. Alright, so y'all do call the planet Earth. There's a lot of stuff that gets answered that I just think about throughout. Anyway, to cheer myself up, I know the perfect thing. Spells! Corrupted spells have slightly different effects from their regular counterparts, as well as having some spells that are unique to the corrupted versions of the traits. So here's a few of those unique spells. I'm about to sneeze. Okay, I think I'm good now. Probably. We'll see. Shatter. Apathy and deceit. Hard to powerful. Breaks objects in the surrounding area. Does the power level depend on the object? This is a spell which Flint used when he left. It took nearly all of the staff to clean up the mess he made. Y'all couldn't use magic to like recreate or something? And no one was fast enough to freeze time that way, if time is frozen, nothing can happen. And if nothing can happen, then nothing can get destroyed because everything's frozen in time. There is physically not enough time for something to happen. But at that rate, if you freeze time, that would freeze light as well because there's not enough time for light to move either. Okay, I'm not going to go into the scientific stuff of, time manipulation. That's not for me. I mean, it's interesting. I'll just, I'm not the one to describe it. Shred. Apathy and cruelty. Hard. Create several cuts across a person. This one really is terrible. I would never dare to use this spell. Here's a question: where do spells come from? Does someone just come up with them? Do they just exist? Are they just, passed down generation after generation? Are there some old spells that get forgotten with time? Are there new spells that can be created? Like I said, magic is not really my thing for, various reasons. Um, so I don't know if it takes like, a lot of magic to just create a spell. I feel like this is talked about before. Maybe not here. Maybe another Wise Group series. I don't know. Can't remember. Mess, spite and frustration, medium. Dirties the surroundings. Does it just create mud everywhere? I swear Carlos uses this one sometimes just to spite us. Get it? Spite? Hehehe. He just. What does it do? Just shower dust everywhere? Makes everything dirty? Is it just like a dirt balloon or whatchamacall, like a muddy water balloon just goes splat all over the place? Exterminate. Cruelty and apathy. Oh boy. Kill all bugs within a certain radius. Only bugs? Honestly, the spell is the only reason why I've considered corruption before, but I guess it's kind of wrong to use, hence why only corrupt individuals can do it. Is there some for like, animals and stuff? And how does it kill them? Do they just like die? Do they just fall out of the air if they're flying? Do they just cease to exist? Do they go splat? Storm, betrayal and frustration. Creates a storm cloud. This is somewhat of a corrupted version of the cloud spell, but is different from the others as it requires a different spell. I don't know why this is just limited to corruption though. I know this is hard to believe, but I have a secret. I think I have a bit of a crush on Beryl. I know, quite a surprise, but I just can't help it. And I think she likes me too. Beryl likes a lot of people, as we recently learned. She gives me signs all the time. Oh, I got off track. Here, let me continue. In the next chapter. Okay, I gotta say, 8 pages was a lot more manageable, because now this is only, a quarter of the length compared to, the first chapter. But there's a lot of stuff in the first chapter, a lot of information provided. That was all good and whatnot. Do I have any more finishing thoughts? I don't think so. Because a lot of the stuff I asked ended up getting answered later on. Creates a storm cloud. I can see why storm being corrupted spell though, because you're messing with nature, and like if you mess with nature incorrectly or you do it wrong or whatever, it could cause problems with the environment. Um, and creating a storm that could be very damaging and whatnot. Otherwise, just poofy clouds, not really environment. That's more of singular object. Anyway, I guess that is all for now. So until next time.